Nigeria's mining sector is still underdeveloped even as the industry has generated over 2 billion naira already as at July 2017, which is higher compared to the entire revenue generated in 2016. Nigeria has significant solid mineral resources with potentials to attract investment for economic diversification from oil, but due to illegal mining carried out mainly by foreigners with collaboration from indigenes, believed to be sponsored by money bags, it has robbed the country of huge revenue. In absence of petroleum, the nation is endowed with mineral resources, and the development of mining industry appears to be an appropriate strategy for export expansion. At the maiden edition of the National Council on Mining and Mineral Resources Development, the Minister of Mines and Steel Development, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, said the sector has achieved a 300% in royalties and fees between 2015 and 2016, which has already surpassed the entire revenue generated for the whole of 2016. The minister disclosed that the ministry has secured a $150 million loan from the World Bank to commence funding strategic interventions in the sector.
It's encouraging to note that we have the partnership of our states and host community here in order for us to collectively and collaboratively achieve that expected result. For example, one highlight of the roadmap is to achieve, through stakeholders' engagement, an increasing amount of mining contribution to GDP and the delivery of shared prosperity to all stakeholders in all aspects of the mining value chain: exploration, mining, beneficiation, and trade. And I can tell you that even at the Federal Executive Council yesterday, where we reviewed the new figures as we got out of recession from the last 5 quarters of excruciating challenges, it was clear to us from those figures that agriculture and mining were the drivers of our progress out of recession. We have achieved a 300% increase in revenue, royalties, and fees between 2015 and 2016. And as of July of this year, the sector had already surpassed the entire revenue of 3 billion generated for the whole of 2016. Other key achievements we have recorded so far in line with the roadmap include the operationalization of the Nigerian Solid Minerals Development Fund, whose board was sworn in 2 months ago to provide financing to projects in the sector. And in collaboration with the Bank of Industry, the SNDF, through the ministry, has launched a 5 billion naira fund to provide single-digit interest loans at the rate of 5% to mining projects all across the country for artisanal and small-scale miners. Also, we have secured approval to access 30 billion naira from the Natural Resource Development Fund for the very first time for the promotion of exploration of new minerals and to strengthen the regulatory capacity of the ministry. In addition to this, the ministry, through the federal government, has secured a $150 million facility from the World Bank to commence the mining diversification project aimed at funding strategic intervention in the sector.
Dr. Fayemi said the ministry is partnering with the security agencies to strengthen and effectively regulate the sector with a particular focus on mine safety and security.
A new partnership has been forged with our security agencies in order to activate our mine surveillance task force. And here I must pay particular commendation to the Nigerian Civil Defense Authority as well as the Nigerian Police Force, who have all actively collaborated with us in ensuring that this task force becomes alive to its responsibilities. For the first time in 30 years, the police has re-established the mines police. Those who have been involved in mining in the past will remember that we used to have the mines police headquartered in Jos, but with the discovery of oil, mines police also disappeared from the scene. But now we have reactivated mines police. A commissioner of police has been appointed for mines police. The National Security Advisor is very committed to this. He was actively involved in a sting operation that we recently undertook in Wase, in Zura, Plateau State. The National Security Advisor was there with me and the governor when we undertook that particular task and apprehended people who were involved in illegal mining of our lead and zinc in that place. So we're not relenting, because the only way we can enhance the credibility of this sector is to also protect the sanctity of the licenses that we give operators. If operators who have been properly licensed get to their mining sites and they cannot even access it due to the activities of illegal miners, then our licenses will not be worth the paper they're written on. So it is absolutely important to us that we protect our miners, be they local or foreign, and also ensure that the consent from the host community are also backed up by the support of our state government. So for us, it is absolutely important that we improve the efficiency of our mining cadastral office and the administration of mineral titles.
Earlier, the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Mohammed Bello, advised the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development to forge close collaboration with the state governments and host communities to maximize the benefit of mining as the country was reaping the gains of the sector.
If we look back in history, we realize that about 100 years ago or thereabouts, Nigeria was a highly recognized center of mining activities. If you recall, just a mining town, gold in Bida, coal in Enugu, and so many other minerals being tapped and developed that laid the solid foundation for what we are today before oil was discovered in 1956. Even though we are starting this late, or with the passion of this administration being driven by our President and ably supported by the Honorable Minister and his team, I'm sure we are going to go back to the days when really and truly we were recognized as a formidable mineral developing nation. The advantage we have as a nation is that with respect to almost all minerals, the system of prospecting, developing, and exploiting has already been perfected elsewhere. So really, it's for us to leverage on experiences of other nations and what they have been able to do so that we can leapfrog. And at this point, without preempting what I'm sure you are going to discuss, I personally believe the right partnership between the federal government, the states, and the host communities will truly make this a revolution that will be very beneficial for all of us.
Other speakers at the event also called on the federal and state governments to work together to address issues affecting the sector which borders along illegal mining and poor mining governance.
When one reviews performance of the mineral sector, the closest to us is Ghana, where in 2016 it produces 90 tons of gold, which is almost about $7 billion, or literally about 50% of our earning from oil. And yet, we know of many states, including Kebbi, that have been producing in one form or the other gold for a very long time. So I think the rediscovery and belief in ourselves that is demonstrated here today is an ingredient of success. And we must not miss sight of the fact that we need to find financing, we need to take more risk, because unlike in agriculture, most of mining, you start with belief that it's down under.
The last speaker made mention that oil is indeed losing its market. And what was said by the Minister of Solid Minerals made mention about Nigeria coming out of recession on two cardinal sectors, which is agriculture and solid minerals. And I strongly believe that with what we're seeing now is the beginning of a new dawn. Hopefully, in a couple of years, we will see that Nigeria is standing high in the Committee of Nations by working seriously with that ministry and creating job opportunity for our teeming youth.
We need a very strong regulation in the sector, because as it is today, illegal mining is going on everywhere, and it is not in the best interest of the government. So I think with this council now coming into effect, I think the ministry is now ready, and we expect a lot from the mining sector.
I think we need to have some kind of action plan, which, from what the minister has indicated, they have already outlined what these are supposed to be. So let us give them timelines so that we can achieve a lot in this very important sector. Also important is the fact that we need, when we invite people to this meeting, I don't know whether they are all here, I think we need the major private sector stakeholders to make a lot of more contributions than what the public sector is actually coming to tell us. And finally, I think it is also equally important that we have to have a very strong regulatory body to look after the sector.
The high point of the event was the exhibition tour by the ministers and other participants. The maiden edition of the National Council on Mining and Mineral Resources Development, which held in Abuja, was themed Enhancing Mineral Resources Governance Towards Economic Growth and Diversification. Awesome Raffle, Ben Television.
Senior Pastor Shining Light Kingdom Builders Church, Tunde Dada, has called on Nigerians to show love to one another, especially now the country is experiencing hard time and agitations from separate groups. The pastor, in an exclusive interview with Ben TV in Abuja, said the church has a big role to play in the unity of the country and advocate that all parties involved should come together and negotiate in love.
We must do all things in love. Love never fails. War has never, nobody wins in war. I believe that if all parties would sit down and negotiate in love, we would go far. We would go far. But everybody needs to get involved. And I also believe that the church has got to get it right. If the church in Nigeria do not get it right, Nigeria will not get it right. We're in a country where we can say 50% of the population is Christian. But look at the results that we're getting. So obviously, even though our beliefs are different, we are behaving like everybody else. So we've got to get to a point where we know our identity and we start to act according to what that identity is, which is love.
Pastor Dada, while advocating that people should get involved in helping the poor, said over 100,000 people benefit in his church feeding program yearly.
To be quite frank, you touch a person's life with help. You have to do that first before you can actually give them the word that they would receive. Because it would be hypocritical if I'm comfortable, I'm having 3 meals a day, and I come and tell you how good God is, and I tell you how good God is, I ask you to come to His side and cross over to the kingdom, and then I leave you hungry and walk away. That really wouldn't work. So it's really important. We have a big burden in our hearts for the poor. We have a lot of outreaches reaching out to the poor in different dimensions. In a year, we feed over 100,000 people in a year. Because we are at outreaches, we have people in school, we have children in school that we feed every day. We have people that we feed on a regular basis. We have outreach churches that people come and just feed them. We have these outreaches that we take doctors, nurses, food, clothing to rural villages, farming communities, and we get there, we give them food, dry food, rice, beans, indomie. We just really reach out and touch a lot of people.
He also called on the diaspora to support missionaries in Nigeria as a way of encouragement in spreading the gospel.
When we look at missionaries, I like missionaries because a real missionary is so obvious that they're not in it for the money. They're in it because they have a passion, they have a love for God. And these people, we verified them. There are people who have left their families, they've left their homes, they've left their careers. I mean, there are people who actually had proper good careers. They've left everything because they had a call from God, you know. And they've entered the bushes, places where they are living with these communities and they are preaching the gospel, expanding the kingdom. To be quite frank, I know quite a lot of them. There is no amount of money you can pay anybody to do what they do. But the reality is that they're doing it for free. And I think it's something that everybody, not just churches, everybody needs to get behind the missionaries. These are the people who have set their lives apart to push the kingdom. Many of us pretty much are in our comfort zone. We're in comfortable environments and everything. We're not that keen to get out of it for long periods of time. These guys their kids can't go to school because they're serving God.
In Abuja, LM Chukwemeka reports.
Lovely place, right?
Yes.
What's wrong? You don't look happy.
Take a look around. Why can't my hotel be like this?
I knew something was wrong, but I've got solution.
Solution? What?
Nanit.
Nanit?
Nanit offers you design solutions, building plans and construction, furnishing and equipping, financing, management, audit services, and many more services for a better hospitality business. Nanit, service with a smile.
As part of its corporate social responsibility to Nigerians, Cedar Crest Orthopedic Hospital Abuja, in collaboration with Catholic Polio Clinics and Ottobock Healthcare, both in Germany, have organized a one-day sensitization and awareness workshop on management of the deformities associated with poliomyelitis. Speaking in Abuja on what necessitated the workshop and collaboration, the medical director of Cedar Crest Hospitals, Dr. Felix Ogedengbe, said it's a way of bringing succor to Nigerians who have suffered poliomyelitis in the past.
Well, the purpose is twofold. First of all, we try to use every opportunity we have to draw awareness to the polio problem. Like you have heard, Nigeria is one of the few countries in the world where there is still a spread of the virus. More importantly, in the second point, we want to draw attention to those people who have suffered polio already, who are living with deformities and issues that polio leaves in its wake. And that is why we've been in discussion with the Catholic Hospital in Koblenz in Germany, because they have a center that is dedicated to the care of polio. They've not had any new infections in Germany since 1986. But they keep treating problems of people who already had polio, who have deformities and disabilities from polio. So we have these kind of problems here, and we're trying to raise awareness so that people who already have suffered from polio will have the care that they deserve. Because we are now trying to establish a definite program to look after people with disabilities, specifically from poliomyelitis.
On the cost of treatment, Dr. Ogedengbe said the workshop is totally free of charge, noting that it is after the meeting that the actual cost of any outcome of poliomyelitis can be known, as no two cases need the same kind of solutions.
They are completely free of charge, and we are doing this as part of our corporate social responsibility. The Correspondent Hospital are also very keen. This is treatment that people need to be able to reach their potential in life. So we're not, they're not paying for it at this time. It does imply that going forward, there will be assessment of patients, and then there will be specific needs. There's some people who need braces to their spines, which they may have to pay for. There's some people who need wheelchairs to move around. But the truth is, government should have avenues for picking up the cost. There's really no free treatment. If somebody was in Germany today and went to people here to get treated, they will not have to pay from their pocket, but somebody is paying the cost. So some of these treatment costs are expensive, and we think that for patients who've suffered problems like this, the government should have facilities for sponsoring their care. And we are ready to work to provide that care locally.
Speaking on the awareness and intervention strategy for the country, the foreign partners said the campaign and other efforts by the government and well-meaning individuals must be very effective, especially in getting vaccination.
It must be very effective to get vaccination in Nigeria and not any polio cases anymore in the future. And after this, we have to think about the patients, about these people who are polio sequelas in Nigeria, and that they need some help of the public health, and that they have some orthotic devices and some treatments, special treatments, because it's possible to help people with post-polio syndrome. And for this, we have to do in collaboration, and both partners have to talk about the possibilities for Nigerian polio people.
It's one of the big reasons, especially affecting Nigeria, is polio, and that is why we as global leaders, we see it as our role to look for the experts, bring them to Nigeria, to our partner in Nigeria, and create a kind of collaboration. That's what we're trying to do. That's what we're trying to set up there. The big takeaway here is what is happening. The fact that Ottobock now has a reliable partner in Nigeria. We are now in Nigeria. In the past, we used to do things in Nigeria. We'll come in and go away. We'll come in and support one or two programs and go away. Now we are here.
On his part, Dr. Sadiq Salau, a consultant orthopedic surgeon at the Cedar Crest Hospital, Abuja, also spoke on what should be done to make sure that poliomyelitis become a thing of the past in Nigeria.
Continuous enlightenment. We should not rest on our oars that we've kicked polio out. We have to, support the effort the international community is making to permanently keep polio out of Nigeria.
The workshop is aimed at educating the participants on modern concepts in the management of post-polio deformities. From Abuja, I am Festus Ejiroge Nefifen for Ben Television.